Nobody understands me. What's the problem? Unknowingly, you often make mistakes in judging people, just as others misjudge you. Biased views based on fragmented information are the result of how human perception works. You might think that people see you objectively, as you truly are. And you may believe that they view you the same way you see yourself. Both are wrong for two reasons. One, truly knowing someone requires seeing into their mind, but that's impossible. Two, your actions are always subject to interpretation. Two phases of perception. Perception of both verbal and nonverbal behavior occurs in two phases. The first phase is governed by the instinct for survival. Consciousness barely participates in the initial processing of information. People form automatic unconscious assumptions based on your behavior. They use labels and stereotypes to understand you. Another source of error is automatic judgments upon which interpretation is built. Confirmation bias plays a role here. You see what you expect to see. Lack of eye contact will be interpreted as an attempt to hide something. If you're physically attractive, people will consider you smart and reliable. Human thinking, like any complex process, is a compromise between speed and accuracy. Time is limited, so we often prioritize speed. It takes significant motivation to invest the effort in the second phase of perception, a thorough analysis of the situation and circumstances in which actions are taken. This is how the most objective opinions of people are formed. But in most cases, the second phase never occurs. Based on their first impression of you, people will interpret your future behavior, seeing what they expect and ignoring the rest. That's why making a good first impression is crucial. Understanding the peculiarities of the first phase, the lenses of perception that shape biases, will help you. The trust lens. The most important instinct for survival is determining whether you pose a threat. In other words, whether you can be trusted. The decision to trust you is made unconsciously, depending on how much warmth and competence you project. To convey warmth, pay attention to your conversation partner. Make eye contact, smile, and nod in approval. Learn active listening. Focus on what's being said to you. The power lens perception is largely shaped by social status. Those in power rely more on stereotypes and preliminary judgments. Make yourself valuable to someone in power, and they will pay more attention to you. Identify how their goals align with yours, how they relate to your competence, and how you can help achieve them. Make the power lens work for you. The ego lens. The purpose of the ego lens is to protect one's self-esteem. Everyone's self-esteem is based on personal priorities. In general, people care about their level of professionalism, social status, and appearance. Be humble enough so you're not seen as a threat. An effective strategy for dealing with the ego lens is to affirm the other person's self-esteem. Acknowledge their achievements, make them feel valued, and highlight their strengths and abilities. Personality type. Lens psychologists distinguish two types of people: those focused on rewards and those who seek to reduce risks. A person in the first group is focused on opportunities for success. The second group sees primarily dangers. To someone focused on opportunities, present your project as a potential win. Show optimism and appeal to their emotions. If you're dealing with someone primarily interested in avoiding risks, explain how your idea will prevent potential losses. Be realistic and stick to the facts. Maintain a calm demeanor. Attachment lens. Various types of attachment formed in childhood influence perception later in life. Love and constant parental support form the basis of secure attachment. These people are ready to trust others and easily maintain relationships. If a child doesn't feel stable parental love, anxious attachment forms, and as adults they have a distorted worldview. People who see the world through the anxious lens are emotionally unstable, clingy, and live in fear of being rejected. When interacting with individuals with anxious attachment, avoid ambiguity. Be patient. Their apparent hostility is often just an overcautious approach to relationships. How to fix a bad impression of yourself. The listed lenses are at work in the first unconscious phase of perception. Usually, judgments about a person are formed during this phase, and the second phase of perception doesn't even begin. But if you want to change an already formed opinion about yourself, you need to force others to engage the second phase. Use one of two strategies. The first is to constantly non-verbally communicate information about the wrong impression. Your behavior must attract attention. If you have a reputation for always being late, it's not enough to start arriving on time. Regularly arrive an hour early. The new habit won't go unnoticed and their attitude will shift. The second strategy is to create a situation where the outcome depends on you. For example, suggest a joint project. If others have to rely on you, they'll be forced to pay closer attention and learn more about you. Sometimes you can correct an impression of yourself simply by offering an apology. Follow these simple rules to stop being seen through the offended lens. Don't justify yourself. Show that you understand their feelings and values. Understanding others and yourself. When forming an opinion about someone, don't rush to conclusions. Try to take the context into account. Remember the distortions in perception. After forming an opinion about someone, don't just look for confirmation of that belief. Listen to feedback from various people. If your friends, family, colleagues, and even casual acquaintances give you a poor review, they might be right. Use the second phase of perception to take a closer look at yourself. Is it time to change? Thank you for watching. This was a summary of a book from the communication section of The Wheel of Your Life. To explore books across the entire Wheel of Life, including new releases, subscribe to the channel.